this movie's trash. Like, there's not a lot more that I can say about Halloween Ends, although there is a lot more that I am going to say. It's very few times that I felt so angry while watching a movie as I did while watching Halloween Ends. Like, I've never asked myself so many times while watching a movie, why? Why did they do this? What exactly are they trying to do? What is going on? I was confused from beginning to end. So as soon as I finished watching it, I wanted to record my thoughts. And this is what I'm doing right now. So I'm just going to give my honest feelings. This isn't a well-written review or anything of the sort. It's just my honest thoughts about how I felt about Halloween Ends. Spoiler free, the only thing I can say is this movie is just not good. Not only is it not good, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad with very few elements that redeem it. I would say the only thing good about this movie is that visually, it looks great. The Michael Myers character himself, he looks awesome. Every time he's on screen, he looks awesome. He looks terrifying. I love it. The music for all three films of this, this new reboot series or whatever, the music is incredible. Like, it's some of the best music in movies, period. But especially in terms of horror films, like the Michael Myers or the Halloween theme song is just, I would argue, it's the most iconic horror music in any horror franchise, period. So that it does have that going for it. It also has going for it that it's trying to give us a message, a story. It's not just trying to scare us or be gory or whatever. Like, it's actually trying to do something. Whether or not that something is good, that's up to you to decide. And another redeeming quality to this is the fact that it does bring the story to an actual end. Like, too often with these horror franchises, because we know we're going to get another Halloween movie or reboot at some point in time in the future. This series is not going anywhere. And because of that, too often what happens in these movies is that, the bad guy's not, spoilers, he's not really dead, or there's still something else going on, or they find a way to make it so that that we're going to eventually get a sequel. This one feels like truly the end of this trilogy. It is the end of this Michael Myers story, which started off in the 70s, 80s? I can't even remember when the original was. And that's another thing I want to say real quick. I'm going to be talking more like this guy, that girl, this woman, or whatever, because I'm not good with names. Maybe I should have them pulled up. As a matter of fact, I am going to pull them up so that way I won't be that annoying. But for now, I just want to say this is not a good movie. Don't go to watch this movie unless you want to laugh at how bad it is. It is that. It is a movie that it is that bad that if you're watching it with a group of friends, you will be laughing at how bad this movie is. But it's not intentional at all. It's not like laughing at, say, the Final Destination movies that are just so gory and so over the top that you're just laughing at that fact. It's not scary in that sense. And there are movies like that. This is not it. This is not an intentionally ironic or funny or dark comedy horror film. No, it takes itself very seriously, and it just does not work. And another good thing about it is the acting. Like, we can't say, if there's one thing you can't say about this movie is that the acting is trash, which is usually the case in horror films. Like, acting is not necessarily or usually like the best thing about horror films. This is not the case here. Throughout all three movies we've had this, but this movie specifically, the actors are real good. Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously, she really sells her character, as she has done throughout the trilogy, which is technically 4 movies, and as she has done throughout her career. Obviously, she's a great actress. But all of the actors in this movie, really well done, especially the protagonist. We can't complain on that end. Now, having said all that, I really do want to get into some details. I want to talk about why this movie made me so angry as I was watching it. And for that, I'm going to have to go into spoilers. So if that's not what you're into, you haven't watched it, you want to stay away from spoilers, I guess this is the point where you should stop. So I want to say a few things. I'm just going to speak off the top as I remember. As I said earlier, I've never had this feeling, or not never. There is another movie that made me feel this way. I'm not going to talk about that right now. But very few times I felt a visceral reaction inside of me as I'm watching a movie where I'm angry because of how bad it is, where I'm genuinely questioning why they made these choices out loud. I'm watching this movie on my own, in my own home, not in the audience, not in the movie theater, by myself, and I'm out loud saying, why? I'm asking myself, what is going on? What is this? I don't understand. I'm audibly saying these things out loud to myself as I'm watching this movie. That's the type of reaction that this movie caused in me. For example, let me look up the two main characters, which is, she's called Allison, and the other guy, what's the main, Corey? I guess his name is Corey Cunningham. Yeah, because they don't show his picture here. So Corey and Addison, those are basically the two main characters in this movie. The Corey character, he starts off, this scared, kind of traumatized kid because of what happened in the past. He basically killed a little kid on accident. First of all, I don't understand this character at all. They treat him like he's a little kid. I think they say he's 21. So they refer to him like as a teenager, as one of the teenagers. He even gets bullied by some 15, 16, 17-year-old teenagers. So they act like this, he's just a little kid. He's like 21, maybe more, because some years have passed since the first initial scene. And the actor himself, I don't know how old he is, but he looks like he's 30. So let's just start off with that. It never made any sense to me the way they treated this character, as if he was so young. So he starts off a certain way. He's bullied. He's traumatized. I get that. They're clearly trying to make a parallel between him and the Michael Myers story and everything that's going on, which I didn't understand why they were doing it initially. But then, the movie makes it very clear why they're doing it the way they're doing it. But my point is that he meets Allison, right? That's her name. They kind of fall in love. She likes him or whatever because he's nice. They make it seem like she doesn't really know his backstory. She doesn't know who he is. And that's why maybe she was, so quickly enamored by him or whatever. And then they go to this party. And this is where the stuff really starts to not make any sense. So they're at this Halloween party. They're dancing. The lights are flashing, which is a very weird scene in itself. And then all of a sudden, mid-dance, he just falls to the ground and he starts like shaking on the ground, looking up as she's looking at him. She's laughing, but clearly as an audience member, you're saying, this guy's having a seizure. Like this is a seizure of some sort. This is a creepy scene because he's literally just shaking there like he's having a seizure. And then he just gets up, they smile at each other, and he goes away. I'm like, why did you make it a point to make it seem like he's having a seizure in this scene if he's not? They even have the flashing lights, like they're clearly making it seem that way. What was the point of that? Then he gets up or whatever. He's in this euphoric state and he walks away. He looks at the girl, they smile at each other, and then he turns around and walks away. Then something happens to him over there. The mother of the little kid that he accidentally killed at the beginning of the movie starts yelling at him or screaming at him or whatever. Then he leaves because of that. So he leaves, and then the Allison goes after him, and she's like, "What happened? Where are you going? What, blah, 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 whatever." And then he gets angry at Allison. He starts saying things like, "You're trying to fix me. You can't fix me." I'm like, what? Where did this storyline come from? Like, at what point did they tell us that she's trying to fix him in any way? They made it seem like she didn't know anything about this character's backstory. Maybe she did and she was just acting or whatever, but they made it seem that way. So where does he get this stuff? Or you're trying to fix me? Why did you bring me here? You're trying to expose me or whatever. And then he says, what is it that he said that just made me so confused? He basically, he gets angry at her and he says, "Where were you? Why you left me? You left me all by myself." He starts blaming her for what had just happened, and then he eventually turns around and leaves. And I'm like, where were you? Like, were you not? Did I not just see what I just saw? Were you not just dancing together in this party? And you got up, you smiled at her, and then you walked away to get yourself a beer or whatever, a drink? Is that not what happened? Where is this coming from? Why did you, where were you? You left me alone. That just, the scene, the dialogue makes no sense whatsoever. Maybe they're just trying to say, yeah, that's the point. He's unhinged. Maybe. But then the way the scene ends also made me say, what? As he's talking to her, she's like with her arms out like this, not in a natural state, not extending her palms, like trying to hold his hands. No, she's literally with her arms up here. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell. It's just, an awkward position. Nobody stands like this. And then he leaves and she just stands there like this with her arms extended in an awkward fashion. I'm like, what are you doing with your arms? What is this scene? What is she trying to portray? I was so confused with stuff like that. Made no sense. And then he goes off to, like, I don't know, something happens. Let's not recap the whole story. But then the other scene that just made no sense to me, that this is where I really started to get angry. When I realized, oh, this is where they're taking this movie. They hinted that Michael Myers is in some sort of sewer, right? It's like a cave / sewer or whatever. Sorry, there's some insects flying around. And at some point, the Corey kid, he finds himself there in the sewer. He gets dragged in or whatever. So I'm like, at this point, Michael Myers has been hiding in the sewers for 4 years at this point? What has he been doing all this time? I don't understand. There's this old man living in front of the sewers. Michael Myers never killed this man for some reason. I'm completely confused. I don't understand what's going on. And then, Corey, the way he I remember this scene so vividly. He had fallen down a bridge of some sort. And then he gets dragged into the sewer. And when he wakes up in a position where his neck is to the side like this, in such an awkward position. And a rat comes, on this side, there's like a rat coming. That's when he opens his eyes and he sees a rat. And then he's like slowly moving his neck. I'm like, did he break his neck? Is this kid there like suffering? Because you can kind of see a bulge as well, like to the side of his neck. I'm like, did this kid break his neck? They're making it seem like he broke his neck. But no, he just slowly moves his neck and he gets up and he starts walking away. I'm like, what was that scene? I don't understand why you made it such a point to emphasize the neck. Why did you, what director, who said, in this scene, you're going to be laying here and you're going to move your head in this direction and it's going to look like your neck is broken. Is his neck broken? No, it's just going to look that way. What's the point of that? And then as he's walking away, the Michael Myers finally shows up, which, by the way, is like 40-something minutes at this point into the movie. This is the first time we actually get to see Michael Myers. He grabs the Corey by the neck and he starts choking him to death, which I also don't understand. I don't understand. He dragged him in and then he left him there. And then as he's walking out, he tries to kill him. By the way, he kills him. He tries to kill him. He looks like he's behind some sort of rock or wall or cave inside the sewer. So he looks like he can't get out. He can only stretch his hands. So I'm like, is Michael Myers trapped in there? And is the old man feeding him bodies or something like that? I don't understand. The point is that he goes and he chokes this kid and he's about to kill him. And then all of a sudden you see something in Corey's eye, and Michael Myers, with the mask on, by the way, is looking at him, and he starts looking at his eye, at that weird shape in his eye. And then all of a sudden he gets like this flashback of Corey's past. Like they show this montage of everything that had happened in his life, killing the kid, being bullied and treated this way or whatever. And he lets him go. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you saying now that Michael Myers has the power, the ability to look into your soul and know your past or something like that? Like he has the ability to know your memories? Is that what you're trying to tell me? And if it is, could you please tell me? Because at this point, it's just completely confusing. I do not understand. And I know that part of the lore of Michael Myers, it is this supernatural element or whatever. But in this trilogy, as far as I can remember, they have not established this. This is like the first time that I remember, that we've seen some actual supernatural elements to this character. And they do it in such a way with no explanation. So Corey comes out and then he gets mugged by the old man. And the old man is telling him, he says a few things that are confusing to me. First, he says, like, you're the first person that goes in there and comes out. I'm like, is it normal in this town, in this world, for people to just go inside of sewers? Like, is that a regular thing? Or is it that you, an old man that clearly has no strength and whatever, you're homeless, you're out there, are you taking people and dragging them inside the sewers? Is Michael Myers doing it? Is that what he's been doing these past 4 years? Like, has he been dragging people off and killing them inside the sewers? Has nobody heard of all these missing bodies, missing people or whatever? Like, completely confusing, that statement, but whatever. He says, you're the first one to go in and come out alive. Why didn't he kill you? You know what you're going to do? You're going to go in there and you're going to get me that mask. I'm like, why? First off, why has Michael Myers never killed this old man? Clearly, you've seen him and interacted with him. Second, why do you want this mask? Okay, I get the old man maybe is crazy or whatever. And then Corey kills him. And that's what I'm like, wait. His life wasn't threatened. Maybe it was self-defense. I give him the benefit of the doubt. No, the movie very quickly makes it a point to tell you that somehow Michael Myers has kind of like transferred his evil into Corey. So now Corey is Michael Myers. They make the first few scenes after that scene, they make it seem like that's the case. Like Michael Myers, when he looked into his eyes and he was choking him, he transferred his soul into this kid. Now this kid is Michael Myers, or the evil of Michael Myers in him. That's how they made it seem. But no, turns out Michael Myers still alive. What is going on then? Is he controlling him? Is this some sort of mind control? Did he put some evil in him, but he's still evil? Like, I don't understand. And then they make it all of a sudden it turns like into this buddy cop movie for like a brief moment in the movie, because now we have Michael Myers and the kid Corey going out on killing sprees together. It's like, oh, we're having fun here. We're both killing people. I'm Michael Myers' trainee or assistant or something like that. Like, I don't understand this movie. Somebody please explain this to me in a way that it makes sense in this movie. Please don't tell me the lore of Michael Myers and that has been established in whatever films and whatever timeline. I don't really care about that stuff. Make it make sense in this movie, within this trilogy especially. That's what I just don't understand. And from that point on, I was just angry after, like, scene after scene. I was just didn't make sense. I wanna emphasize at least one more scene before closing this. Not sure how long I've been talking about. I know it's been kind of long. The girl Allison, she seems like a normal girl. She kind of falls in love or starts liking this kid. She doesn't fall in love, obviously. They just met. She starts liking this kid, Corey, for who he is. He's a nice guy or whatever. He's shy, etc. She likes this kid. So they start going, I guess they go out, whatever. After this thing happens with Michael Myers, which is after the party scene, by the way, where he yelled at her for no reason and just stormed off or whatever. And then he's changed. Now his demeanor has changed. Now he's a little more aggressive. He's a little more intense. He seems pretty crazy. All right, he seems like a Michael Myers character, like he's turning into the Michael Myers character. The next scene, then he goes to her house and he talks to her with this demeanor, and she seems to just accept it. Then they go out at some point to a diner, and this is one of the most bizarre scenes in the whole movie. So they're in the diner and they're talking, and this kid is so intense, and he's clearly a psychopath. He's clearly Michael Myers. And they show her, the Allison character, and she's clearly scared. She does not look comfortable with what's going on. She perceives that this guy has changed. He's not the same guy that she met initially. That's how it seems. She's clearly traumatized. She is in shock with what's going on. All of a sudden, I guess what's her ex-boyfriend comes to the table, which is also a very weird thing. Her ex-boyfriend is like 40. He's like this 40-year-old police officer. That didn't make any sense. But anyway, he comes over and he kind of starts bothering them, I guess, a little. He was actually being kind of nice, but I guess he was bothering them. So the Corey character, he gets up and he just confronts him like he's about to fight. He looks like he's just about to kill him, right? Which is something that he wouldn't have done at the beginning of the movie. And this Allison character, she's sitting there. She doesn't even, like, they're arguing right next to her. And she's just sitting down looking straight forward or down. I can't remember. But she's just in shock. She looks like she's about to cry. She looks like she wants no part of this. Like this, she's clearly perceived that this Corey character has lost his mind. He's not what she thought he was. Like, this is not an agreeable situation. She is not comfortable. It clearly shows on her face. She wants nothing to do with this situation. The police character goes away, her ex-boyfriend or whatever. Corey then sits down next to her, puts his arm around her, and you as an audience member, you're like, man, this is uncomfortable. Like, this guy is intimidating. He's clearly making her even more uncomfortable. I can't imagine how she's feeling in this. And you know what she says? She says, let's burn this town down. Something of that nature. She was like, let's burn it all down. I'm like, what? Where did this come from? At what point, like, are you not telling me that she's afraid of him? She's in shock. She's traumatized. And what she says is, yeah, let's burn this place down. So she's into this character. She's into the fact that he's more aggressive, that he's crazy, that he's all this other stuff. Like, where did this come from? I don't understand this story. I don't understand these characters. It's just so bizarre to me. And then, okay, this might be my genuinely final thing that I want to say. The next scene, then the cop goes, I guess, I can't remember if he's following Corey then after this or something like that. The point is that they go and they find themselves in the sewer where Michael Myers is. And then the police officer, he's searching around, he finds the dead body, the old man that Corey had killed. So he finds a dead body. He's a police officer. I don't know if I mentioned that like 3 or 4 times already. He's a police officer. He finds a dead body. And as he's investigating this, Corey comes behind him and he tries to suffocate him to death. I can't remember if it was with a bag or something. He tries to suffocate the cop to death. The cop manages to escape and Corey goes off running. What does the police officer do at this point? You just found a dead body. The guy just tried to kill you. What does he do? He goes into this dark sewer by himself, doesn't call for backup, doesn't even pull a weapon out. He goes into this dark sewer with a flashlight, just slowly looking around for a guy that just tried to kill you, that you suspect just killed that old man, but it doesn't occur to you to take a weapon out. And then as he's searching or whatever, Michael Myers, again, he's like behind this wall. I still don't understand it. And the police officer shines his light seemingly in that direction. You see Michael Myers. Like, we see him behind the wall as he shines his light. He doesn't see him. Instead, he's looking at this rock and he says, what is this? I had to rewind that part 3 times to understand, did he not see Michael Myers? I'm not understanding. And what is it that he's looking at that's so distracting that he can't see Michael Myers literally right in front of him? He's not behind him. He's not to the side. He's right in front of him. And Michael Myers has a white mask. Okay, you can see a white mask in the dark. Anyway, he's distracted by this rock. You know what this rock is? It's just a rock in the shape of Michael Myers' face. Mind you, it doesn't look like I might have to watch it again. It doesn't look like it's been carved out. This is not a drawing. This is not a carving. It's just a rock in the shape of Michael Myers' face. Why? What is this rock? What are you trying to tell me? And that's when Michael Myers comes out and kills him or whatever. This movie, by the way, Michael Myers in a nearly 2-hour movie he's only in this movie like 10 to 15 minutes. That's it. That's Michael Myers' screen time. 10 to 15 minutes. And about, I don't know how many kills are. This is definitely the movie with the least amount of kills as far as I can tell. Let's just say there's like 10 kills. Out of the 10 kills, like 8 of them are off screen. They're off camera. There are no actual kills or very few actual kills in this movie. I'm just so shocked, so amazed that this is the way they end this trilogy. Kudos to them. At least they actually finished it. They killed Michael Myers in a way that there is no way this guy can make it. Like, that's it. They did it in a way where they literally destroyed the body. So there is no way, unless they go the supernatural route and he transfers his evil to some other body or whatever. But outside of that, and there's a lot of more other stuff that I have that's so bizarre to me. Corey's mother, a lot of stuff that I just don't understand and I did not enjoy, and they did not take the time to flesh it out. This movie actually seems like something that if it were a novel, a little more fleshed out, I actually would enjoy it. I did but I can see somewhat what they were going for. But in terms of an actual movie and the bookend of a trilogy, this movie is just so bizarre. It's just so bad. It wasn't enjoyed. There was nothing redeeming about it. The previous movie was very bad as well, but at least it has some awesome kills. Like that was part of the redeeming factor in that movie, and a few other things that I did enjoy. But both are bad. But this movie is just bad. It's just bad. Let me know what you guys think if you've seen this movie. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. These have been my thoughts, I guess, / review of Halloween Ends. If I'm going to give it a number, which again, I've said this before in other videos. Nobody's forcing me to give it a number. This is my channel, my video. But if I were forced to give it a number, this would probably be, okay, because 5 would be mediocre. 4 would be under that. I would give this movie a 3. Tempted to give it a 2. I'm going to give it a 3. This movie to me is a 3. I really did not enjoy this movie. That's just me. No, don't give me too much hate in the comments. If you enjoyed it, that's awesome. I let everybody enjoy whatever they want to enjoy. I didn't get it. I guess it wasn't for me. Maybe one day I'll change my mind, but as of this moment, really bad, really bad, really bad. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Till next time.